Welcome to CSL Live. Today we'll be doing Starlink-28 mission as it takes off from Kennedy today. We will now be switching over to our main cameras for this launch. This launch today will be going from Kennedy at Launch Complex 39A, and it'll be dispersing 57 payloads, I'm pretty sure it is. Sorry, my mic cut off there. Like I said before, this will be taking off in about 3 minutes, hopefully, for this launch attempt. Currently, we are at Strombeck React, and we are about to get to engine startup, which is where we then start up the engines and the flight control takes over. At this moment, we currently have the launch time scheduled for 6:56 p.m. Eastern Time. That is 22:56 UTC. Alright, this mission is also operated by SpaceX today, which is what we normally use. We normally use SpaceX launches for all this. Sorry if this is confusing to say, because it is, for some reason, I'm a lot different today than others. So, this stream is streamed in 180p, 60 FPS, and if you're having an issue streaming that, just go into your settings, click Advanced, and then switch to 180p, 60 FPS. We have about now 2 minutes till the Starlink launch, and we're about close to 30 seconds or something away from startup, where Falcon 9's flight control takes over. One of our mods says, what is this launch for? Just wondering. This launch is for Elon Musk's Starlink constellation, which is a satellite-based internet service that has low latency internet. That is going to be... It is designed for rural communities or places without internet, and it's good for video calls and gaming. We have about 1 minute and 20 seconds until launch now, and startup should be happening about now. And also, in order to make sure the rocket is good, we do something called engine chill, which allows the rocket to actually cool down a bit before launch. And we have just now approached startup, and startup is now in completion. As we see, we now have 1 minute till T-minus liftoff. The next stage will be liftoff here, and then we'll have the max Q, MECO, or main engine cutoff. The fairing, which is where we deploy the fairings, which we will be attempting to pick up. Actually, not we. SpaceX will be attempting to capture again. Then you go to the entry burn, where the second stage, or not the second stage, the first stage, comes back in Earth to land on the drone ship. I'm pretty sure today's drone ship is, of course, I Still Love You, or to just follow the instructions. Then it'll go to the landing, which is where the first stage will then land. And then it goes to second engine cutoff, and then deployment of the satellites. About 10 minutes till launch, and startup is now completed. We have liftoff of the Starlink-28 mission. Currently with us too on air is also Elman. He's our Discord. He's one of our mods. Sadly, there was an issue with Discord, so we weren't able to get him on live. Currently halfway towards max Q, and we are 30 seconds into this launch. Currently, all stats of the of this mission are looking nominal, as from SpaceX statistics and status. We have now approached a bit over 1,000 miles per hour in speed, which is normal for a rocket. Alright, that's 1,000 miles an hour, that's kilometers an hour. And we have just approached max Q, which is also known as maximum aerodynamic pressure. That is the maximum pressure that the rocket will receive during the mission. And now we're on our way to main engine cutoff, or MECO. As you can see now, it looks like it has just left the atmosphere, going about 4,000 kilometers an hour at an altitude of 34 kilometers. Okay. I'm not good with other things besides miles per hour, so that is my mistake if I just got that wrong. I think that's kilometers. Yeah, okay, see, I gotta learn more, especially with these launches. And as you can see now, we can see the rocket as it goes up. About 6,700 kilometers an hour. Two minutes, 35 seconds into this launch, and now we have MECO, or main engine cutoff. And now we have the stage separation of stage 1's up. If you do have any questions, you can ask in the chat, because I will be trying my best to answer these as best as I can. As you can see, we now got the two views of the rockets, as stage 2 is currently going over 8,000, and stage 1 is currently heading back to Earth. We have now approached fairing, and fairing, like I said, is deployed. We will be trying to catch those today, or SpaceX will be trying to catch those fairings. And fairing deployment success. Currently what it's doing is it's getting into an orbit, and then it's going to then redo its entry burn so that it can come back to Earth. And then it'll be in about a 30 to 40 minute wait so its orbit is Earth, so it can get to its perceived altitude. But like I said, today they will be deploying 2 commercial satellites. I think it's satellites or payloads, I'm pretty sure. Element says, oh, the edge of the jet. Is that, did you say? Oh, rims are so red. Yeah, that's because of the amount of heat that's currently on it. We are halfway to entry burn, as we are T plus 4 minutes and 30 seconds into this flight. If you would like to get any launch information like these launches or other launches, go to our Twitter at ConfirmedSL, which you can follow us to get all launch notifications on many different launches from different companies. And if you like it, you can go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be posting more of these highlights and launches over on the CSL channel, because we're going to try and rebrand these away from the con channel. Question: how often do these launches fail? SpaceX currently, they haven't really had a failed launch with Starlink, because they've done, I think it's now, like, this is a 28th mission. They've all been successes, I think. And they use technology to make sure that these, like, failures don't happen. Is one thing that's notable about SpaceX, is that they'll abort the launch even if it's at the last second to make sure it doesn't blow up, so they lose the payloads and everything. As you can see here, the stage 1 is looking like it's coming back into Earth as we are getting closer to its entry burn. Yep. And looks like we are now again approaching entry burn at T plus 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And entry burn is ongoing and should be completed in a matter of seconds. Entry burn is where the first stage comes back into Earth to prepare for its landing again on the drone ships. Like I said, I think today's drone ship is, of course, I Still Love You, or it is Just Read the Instructions. Entry burn is now complete as it's heading back to Earth for its landing phase. Then we go to second engine cutoff, which is after landing, and shortly after landing, actually, as we're now in T plus 7 minutes. We're about halfway to landing right now, as we are now T plus 7 minutes and 30 seconds into today's launch and flight. Once again, if I sound different, it is because I am kind of tired while I'm doing this, but I'm not really, and I'm just trying to get the information I can because I didn't do the prologue because they launched quicker than I thought. We're about 3/4 of the way to landing now. Still running about 60 FPS too with the stream. Oh, stream just had a tiny error, but it's now back. We're getting close to landing. We do not know if we have views of the drone ship because what happens when it lands is that there is a cutoff with the satellite feed because of the amount of pressure that it's bringing on the drone ship. And here you can see the landing. Oh, we actually had a view of that. Alright, the drone ship cam went down, but we actually have the view from the rocket. And yep, I was correct. It's Of Course I Still Love You. As you see now, we are approaching second cutoff, or SECA 1. And SECA 1 has had success. Now, what this will do is in about 30 to 40 minutes, the rocket will now orbit Earth. Until then, we will update you on any incoming things by unmuting and talking. If you have a question or anything, feel free to say it in the chat. I will answer it and unmute. Just now, you can enjoy hip-hop and lo-fi while we wait. we got a question from Elman again saying, does the satellite have to get to a certain area or something? It does, because with Starlink, they are going to a low Earth orbit area because they're trying to get the best latency possible for this. And satellites orbit in a certain area so they do not collide with other satellites or even things like the International Space Station. Which, if you're interested, if you're near Whitmore Lake in Michigan, you will actually be able to see the ISS today at 10:11, or I think it's 10:02 p.m. today, with a max height of 74 degrees. If you like what we do here, you can go follow us on Twitter at ConfirmedSL. Sorry, the mic come out. If you like what we do here, you can go follow our Twitter at ConfirmedSL if you want to get any launch notifications or announcements. If you also want to see streams of our launches, you can go subscribe to our YouTube channel or go subscribe to ConfirmedSL. back to CSL Live. The local time here is about 7:20 p.m. Eastern Time, as we are about 20 minutes away from second engine startup. If you'd like to view data on this launch or any other launches, you can go to our website at confirmedspacelaunches.com. It is about 7:30 p.m. local time here. We have about 10 to 20 minutes before second engine startup happens in deployment. If you have any questions, don't mind asking in the chat. We will try our best to answer them. Along with, if you would like to follow our Twitter for any launch updates, that confirmed SL, and the links are in the description. look like to be about 10 minutes away, it seems like, from second to startup and deployment. Currently, we are still waiting for any updates regarding this launch, or not the launch, sorry, regarding deployment. All we know is that it'll be a bit higher altitude than it is, sorry about my voice, than it was with the past 27 launches. And like I said, they'll also be deployed. Sorry for that again, my mic cut out. It has a very sensitive wire. And like I said, they'll be doing about 57 Starlink payloads and about 2 commercial payloads. Like I said, we'll update you when we have another update. Yes, hello, Zach. I am a nerd. But yeah, please don't spam that because that will get you timed out. Sorry. We are about, I think, now 10 minutes away. We can't say for sure because that's all on SpaceX's side because they know the exact timing. So, like I said, we're probably about 10 minutes away. Like I said, if you have any questions, put them in the chat and I will do my best to answer them along with our mods. Might also try to help answer them. This is exciting. I just said, look at the subscriber count. We are now at 208 subscribers. That is insane and amazing to me. So thank you to the people that decided to subscribe and join the stream, because that really does make my day. Like I said, we got about around 5 minutes until we have second engine startup and deployment. We are now approaching second engine startup. This is where the second engine will then start up. It's either startup or second engine shut down. I'm pretty sure it's second engine startup, if I remember correctly from any data. And then right after second engine startup, we will then have deployment of the satellites. After deployment is then when their stream will then end, due to the fact that we really have no coverage. But from the deployment, they will be deploying 57 Starlink satellites along with 2 commercial payloads. When second engine startup happens, I will unmute and start talking more. Second engine startup is now about to happen. As you see in the video feed, they will be starting up the second engine, so that way it can then propel them into the needed orbit. After that, then we'll get a visual of any deployment from the Starlink satellites. We are waiting for any confirmation on the second engine startup has been completed or not. For what it looks like it has been completed, but we're still waiting. And there it is, second engine start. Successful. And now it's going back to SECO 2, which is where then the second engine cutoff is. In around a minute, in close to about a minute or to 10 minutes, we will then have deployment of the 57 Starlink satellites along with deployment of the 2 commercial payloads. This should be a relatively fast sequence from what happens, and we will unmute when it happens. Our first batch deployment is happening in just a few minutes. This, I'm pretty sure, is the commercial payload deployment, if I remember correctly, or this is the Starlink deployment. There is, like I said, there is 2 deployments happening this mission. It should be happening about now. Here we have a view of the Starlink satellites. Waiting on end confirmation for any deployment. Still don't know if this is the commercial payload or the Starlink deployment one right now. Now it looks like we were heading to the Starlink satellite deployment section, which will be the final addition to this mission. When that happens, that should be happening in about 3 minutes actually, we will unmute and update you on any information regarding to that. We are now approaching the Starlink satellite deployment. Like I said, we'll be deploying 50 Starlink satellites for this mission, which will be part of SpaceX's Starling constellation, which will be providing fast and low latency internet to the US and other related countries. This should be happening in about 30 seconds to a minute, and you'll be able to see on the cameras of the deployment of satellites. Deployment should be happening close to maybe in 10 seconds, as we are almost T+1 hour into this mission, as it is 7:58 p.m. local time here, which is Eastern Standard Time. And it looks like we are now about to do our deployment of our satellites, and here we go. We're still waiting for deployment. This may not be the Starlink deployment, actually. This might be the commercial payload deployment, because I know there's two. And if you look on the SpaceX's mission dash, there's a tiny extra dot over on the side, so that might be the actual Starlink deployment. From what it looks like, we have not deployed the Starlink satellites, and it looks like it will be that other dot that is currently just sitting there. At the moment, we'll currently just be waiting for any confirmation on deployment for the other satellites, or just waiting for the Starlink satellites to deploy. Till then, we will mute and have a fun time listening to lo-fi and hip-hop beats. we've gotten an update from SpaceX. They'll be cruising in this position for about 30 minutes or so before they deploy the Starlink satellites, as the last 2 deploys were for the commercial payloads. If you're just now joining us, I mute and unmute for updates or answering questions. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat and I'll try my best to answer them. If you also want to get alerts on any other launch notifications, you can go follow our Twitter at ConfirmedSL. If you did not know, we have the Black Brant 12 mission tonight, too. That is starting at 8:10 p.m. at Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. So if you'd like to go see that, you can go to Wallops TV, I'm pretty sure it is, and go watch that. But, hey, we recommend you stick around for the Starlink mission. about halfway until the Starlink satellite deployment. We'll post any updates on our Twitter and send it in the chat and stream it here. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat as we'll try to answer them the best we can. Follow our Twitters at ConfirmedSL and that kind of official. Sometimes. Like I said, go follow our socials if you want to get updates on basically anything space related, and all those links are in the description. are probably about 5 to 10 minutes away from deployment. As like I said, it was about 1 hour and 37 minutes is when they'll be deploying Starlink Satellite, so about 7 minutes. Till then, we'll stay muted and you can just chill to our hip-hop lo-fi. It is now about 30 seconds until the satellite deployment for Starlink-28. In about, like I said, about 15 seconds, we will get confirmation and a video feed of the deployment of the satellites, which are 57 today. Currently, we are just waiting for that to happen and our cameras switch over. We are currently approaching. And here we go, we're about to deploy the satellites. And they should be deploying about now. We'll get a video and camera feed of the satellite deployment also from SpaceX. And here we go. Hinges will first pop off to then release satellites, and the satellites will drift into their own orbit and then open up. Awaiting hinge separation. There they go. And there go the satellites. Right now, it looks like it's a successful deployment of the 57 Starlink satellites for Starlink-28. Along with successful deployment of the 2 commercial payloads and satellites that were also launched today. That will be it for today's CSL stream. Oh, sorry. If you did enjoy today's stream and launch, go follow us at Confirmed SLR. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. They will drift up into their own orbit before then deploying. Today's stream was taken over by at CSL Studios in Michigan. Hope you enjoyed today's launch. This is Khan signing off.